swirling at a much better clip. Right now, we're just racing for the heaviest snow that we're anticipating between 7 o'clock tonight and 7 in the morning.
Tell me your biggest concerns, because we're in an area where there is often flooding.
Well, our biggest concern is going to take place about 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, when we're starting to see where the next high tide is going to take us. If we believe there's going to be a significant flooding event, then we're going to go into evacuation mode and start removing people who might be vulnerable to the flood and get them to some safety. So,
I'm sorry.
No, but that's really our next significant event. Right now, we're just going to have to ride it out with the snow and keep our snow apparatus moving throughout the city.
Tomorrow morning, you're keeping an eye. Residents usually cooperative. Is that voluntary, or would that be a mandatory evacuation?
Well, we asked earlier on local access cable for people that if they thought they would be in any type of danger of being flooded, to move early rather than have to go under a stressful situation where they have to be moved. So, that holds true for right now. If they feel as though that they're uncomfortable or may have to move tomorrow, move in with a friend or relative, whatever, get out of harm's way until this storm passes.
It's not too late to call the city.
Absolutely not.
All right, Mayor Rizzo, thank you so much for stopping by. We appreciate it. The wind definitely picking up here, as you heard the mayor say. Right now, wait and see. It's tomorrow morning that they're most concerned about. Reporting live from Revere, I'm Pam Cross, WCVB News Center 5.
And the whole side of Pam's face is just getting hammered by the weather.
We want to update the breaking news we're following out of Wilmington right now. This fire that you see through the trees is happening at the Avalon Oaks, and we are told that's a condominium complex, and it has engulfed all 4 condominiums within that complex right now. Again, this is Wilmington. It's happening right now. The ferocious winds have got to be just like throwing gasoline on a fire right now. Crews having a very difficult time getting water to it. We'll stay on top of developments there and bring you updates.
Let's take you to City Hall Plaza. News Center 5's Mary Saladna has been there all day. Mayor, is it still that freezing rain you were dealing with before?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, if you I guess you can probably see it. And then if you look over that way, you just see gusts of snow just blowing down the street. It's really kind of difficult to even walk out here in this, because it is pelting you like little tiny, pebbles of sand or rocks, or it's got to be ice, that type of thing. For the most part, you're not seeing a whole lot of activity down here. You see some emergency vehicles going by every now and then. The police out and about making sure no one's in trouble. We have a few folks that we always see kind of coming by. These folks, look, they're very hardy. Most people I see are absolutely hunched over, heads down as they walk into the snow. But the key is their back is to the wind. Here's the difference. If you're facing this way or if you're facing this way, it's manageable. So I guess everybody walked that way toward Tremont. But the T is closed now. Roads, there's very little traffic on the roads, and that is rightfully so. We do see a few stragglers. We have heard that the majority of the hotels in town are booked. Now, certainly you can find a room if you call enough places, but a lot of people have just decided to stay put, and they're hunkered down. And even, now getting around the city by foot is just really, really, really hard. So, we were talking earlier about how the T closed at 3:30, and I don't know if we mentioned it, but that was mainly based on the hospitals in town. The shift changes at 3, and so they wanted to make sure all those necessary personnel could switch shifts and be there for the night side, because certainly we will have some need for their help on some level as we go through this blizzard in the overnight hours. Back to you.
And just the subtle change. The light of day gone. And when we started going on the air this afternoon, it was 33 degrees in Needham. It's down to 31. Perhaps not a significant drop, but we're now below the freezing mark.
And it's going to go way colder than that as the evening continues. Let's bring Harvey Leonard back into the mix now. Snow, wind, the temperatures are dropping. It's a pretty treacherous mix, Harv.
It really is. I don't think I could really emphasize enough how dramatically conditions are going to continue to deteriorate in terms of amount of snow on the ground, the snow that's falling, the visibility going to nothing, and the wind just keep on increasing. That's certainly going to be happening in the ensuing hours, and then just stay that way all night long. These are the top 5 biggest snowstorms in Boston. I'm not saying we're going to break the all-time record. It's not impossible. It actually could happen. But I do think a top 10 storm requires 1.5 feet. I really think it's almost a lock that Boston will get at least that much snow out of this storm. So everything is coming together. Already, check out some of our reports. 3 to 4 inches seem to be the common averages at this point. I would say that in the Boston area, we're approaching the 1 inch per hour snowfall rate. And in the southern part of the state, it's already greater than that, and that's going to be moving into the Boston area over the next few hours. Now, the other part of this, the blizzard warning, because of the combination of the wind and the snow, reducing visibility. Notice, Worcester, 495 at all points, east and south, all involved. Coastal areas, probably the worst of all in terms of the visibility reduction and the overall effects of the storm. Already, wind gusts have reached 50 miles an hour or greater. Blue Hill and Hingham, just about that. Situate and Nantucket, over 45 in Brookline. We haven't seen the strongest winds from the storm, that is for sure. There you see the gusts to just about 50 now, Boston and Nantucket. Even inland areas, not as windy as the coast, but certainly plenty windy. Go forward in time and look at the gusts that are projected as we go through the overnight. So you can imagine increased snowfall rates, falling temperatures, increasing wind, and it looks nasty out there now. So it is going to be remarkable when you wake up tomorrow morning when it's first light and you see what it looks like compared to the last time you saw when it was light, which was maybe an hour ago. It will be like the landscape, to some extent, has been rearranged. That's how powerful this storm is. And here are the gusts projected through the overnight into tomorrow morning. The wind is going to take a long time to spin down, especially coastal areas, because the storm gets so intense, the circulation is pretty large. Now, visibility is shrinking. Moderate snow, you need to be down to a half mile. Heavy snow down to a quarter mile. This was taken as of 5 o'clock, but some of these visibilities have been reduced since then. So the moderate to heavy bands of snow are moving into the region, and where you see the deepest blues down here, that is just above the rain snow line, and it is in southern Connecticut, southern Rhode Island, parts of Cape Cod and southeastern Mass. That is heavy-duty snow, and that is indeed what's lifting northward. And you see it right here showing up in purple. Notice what we deal with. The South Shore of Long Island, tremendous rain. The North Shore, tremendous snow. But the rain-snow line will collapse down there, and later on tonight it will collapse through the rest of the Cape that may be mixed. And even Nantucket will get involved with heavy snow later on tonight. This is Futurecast. Just look at this from Boston through Providence on down through Cape Cod. That's incredible snow rates, at least 1 to 2 inches per hour. There could be 3 inch per hour snow rates involved in this, especially a little bit later when the wind goes to north, the temperatures drop, and instead of the wet, pasty snow right now that's readily accumulating in Boston, then you're going to have the lighter, fluffy snow, but a tremendous amount of it building up. So that's the nature of this storm. It is a very powerful one indeed. And look how long it takes on the clock for the final snow bands to clear the coast and the outer Cape. Might not happen until tomorrow evening around Chatham. A couple of different models that I look at for guidance with this particular storm, indicating 20-ish inches of snow for Worcester and Boston. Another model that I look at that tries to kind of fine-tune a little mesoscale, the small scale changes that can happen, that's around 2 feet in Boston, and this entire area right here is over 2 feet of snow. It does look like the I-95 corridor could be close to the jackpot, right around that. Remember, this could always be a little this way or a little that way, but you get the idea. Worcester to Boston to Lawrence to Marshfield to Hyannis to Providence, all tremendous amounts of snow, very high impact, and even Nantucket. One model indicating 7 inches, another 14, because the few-hour difference as to when it changes from rain to snow, it'll be so heavy, will make the determining factor. Bad storm that is going to get a lot worse for all areas. And of course, I don't mean to dismiss the coastline. Obviously, Mike has been working on that aspect of the storm and will continue to do so. So we'll work on the snow, the wind, the amounts, the coast, multifaceted, major nor'easter, the blizzard of 2013.
Hey, Harvey, stay there for 1 second, because I know that privately behind the scene you've been very excited about what you've seen on the radar involving Foxborough. Yes. Excited may be the wrong term there, but tell me why, because we're about to go to a live report in Foxborough.
Yeah, well, actually, if you look at this band right here, I've seen many storms where there seem to be certain areas that are a little bit favored, that seem to get heavier amounts of snow. One area in some situations seems to be that area around Foxborough, Canton, Sharon, Stoughton. So it's kind of a favored area, you might say. Another case when there's storms that perhaps are going to be more like rain on the coast and snow inland, we look to the hilly terrain of Worcester County. In this particular case, look at the snow amounts drop off toward Albany, New York.
Yeah.
All right, because this is a coastal storm. So in the end, you know, it's going to take longest to end here. It's going to be the heaviest for the longest period of time. You've got the wind, tremendous blowing and drifting are all to happen. Now, you don't have the drifting right now near the coast because the temperatures are right around 32. But remember, the temperature's really going to drop later on tonight. So once again, we're expecting 1.5 to 2 widespread with elements higher than teens. Right now, it's a wet snow. It's going to make that transition, but it's not going to make the storm any easier to deal with.
Let's take you to Foxborough right there. That's where Kimberly Bookman is right now. Kimberly?
Hi, Ed. We are here at the Foxborough Rotary right behind me, and I apologize if I'm not camera ready. That's because all of the snow keeps smacking me in the face, and I have water all over. It does not matter how long you are standing out here. This just keeps on blowing. I want to show you exactly what we're dealing with out here. The roads are completely coated, as you can see over my shoulder at this point. The snow just keeps. The snow that we're seeing out here is actually pretty powdery. While it is wet, it's somewhat powdery and flaky. I would say that they've got about 2.5 inches at this point. And we are at the Foxborough Rotary, as I had mentioned. This area usually very populated around the rush hour time, lots of cars, but also lots of restaurants, lots of stores. Everyone has absolutely closed up shop. People listening to the warning to just stay inside and to get off of the roadways, mostly because this is a town that has had so many problems in the past with different storms. You'll remember Hurricane Irene, when they had power outages for such a long period of time. All of the residents at this point, they're just staying inside. They're not outside shoveling. You don't see their cars in their driveways. Everyone is home. You see one of the plows out here. The highway department really on top of this. They have been out here since about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Prior to that, they had salted all of the roadways. So we have been driving around, and I can tell you that the road conditions are good because they have been treating them. But as the snow keeps on falling, they're trying to really keep up with it because they know that at any time that could certainly change. So you can see the number of plows coming around this area, an area that usually is pretty well driven. But again, everyone's staying inside at this point. For now, reporting live from Foxborough, Kimberly Bookman, WCVB News Center 5.
All right, folks, take that picture of Kimberly, and she is just pelted by all the snow. And this is what Harvey just said while she was on the air. The super craziness hasn't even gotten there yet.
Not even by about half.
Not even by half. So take what you've seen by Kimberly, and that's mild compared to what's going to be like a handful of hours from now.
It's a good idea to sit in front of your TV set and let our reporters show you what's happening outside. We want to show you right now a live look. This is Hampton Beach, New Hampshire, and you can see it's just about whiteout conditions there right now. Obviously, it's very dark, but we do want to tell you as we look at this live shot that of emergency has officially been declared in the state of New Hampshire now as well. So both Massachusetts and New Hampshire in states of emergency with this blizzard 2013, and our coverage, special coverage that is extensive and ongoing, probably throughout the duration of the storm, continues in just a moment. We'll take a quick break.
It's the Big Ten sale at Planet Fitness. Now through February 13th, join for just $10 down and $10 a month with tons of equipment and our judgment-free zone. Planet Fitness has everything you need. Sign up today during the Big Ten sale, now through February 13th.
We have every angle covered at 11 o'clock.
This is what police know right now.
WCVB News Center 5 at 11.
11 minutes non-stop news begins.
More right now coverage at 11 o'clock.
Impact tomorrow's train service too.
Exclusive investigation.
Team 5 takes a closer look at